It's a Saturday morning, and you're doing something you've done 180 times before. You open your banking app. You transfer the mortgage payment. $2,200. Same account. Same date. Same number. It's been that way for 15 years. Except this time, after you hit confirm, you get a notification you've never seen before. Balance, $0. Loan, closed. You pause. A second, maybe two. Because you were expecting something. A feeling. A signal. Some internal shift that announces itself. But what you get instead is silence. The coffee is still warm. The neighbor's dog is still barking. The Saturday looks exactly like last Saturday. Nothing feels different. And then, about 48 hours later, something quietly rearranges itself. Not dramatically. Not all at once. But something changes. At a level that's hard to name. Until you're standing inside it. Today, we're going through exactly what that is. Not the financial mechanics. Those are straightforward. The deeper thing. What actually shifts in how you think. How you work. How you make decisions. And what becomes possible. That wasn't before. Because most people spend years trying to pay off their house. Without ever being told what comes next. First, the number. Because the number matters. The average American mortgage payment is about $2,317 a month. Over 30 years. A $300,000 loan at 7% becomes roughly $718,000 paid. You borrowed $300,000 and paid back $718,000. The bank made more from your house than you paid for it. That's not a complaint. It's just a clear description of what a mortgage actually costs. Most people never calculate it, because the monthly payment is the only number they see. And when that payment disappears, you don't just get $2,300 back. You get something harder to measure. You get the weight of the obligation off your chest. But here's the strange part. Weight you've carried long enough stops feeling like weight. It just starts feeling like you. Which is why its absence is disorienting at first and meaningful later. Hash what changes immediately and what doesn't. The first thing people expect is relief. And it does arrive. But quietly, not dramatically. Which confuses people who spent 15 years imagining a bigger moment. Here, what actually changes in the first 30 days. Your fixed monthly obligations drop. By whatever your mortgage was. If you were paying $2,200 a month, your break-even number just fell by $2,200. That number matters more than most people realize. It's your floor. The lower your floor, the more choices you have. A lower floor means a bad month becomes uncomfortable, not catastrophic. A slow business quarter doesn't threaten your home. The job you've been tolerating suddenly loses leverage over you. But here, what doesn't change immediately? Your income, your habits, your sense of financial security. Those require different work. And this is where people quietly go wrong. Because the people who feel wealthy instantly are often the same ones who inflate their lifestyle within 18 months and end up right back where they started. Different debt, same pressure. Paying off your house does not make you wealthy. What it does is remove the single largest structural obstacle to becoming wealthy. Those are not the same thing. Hash the math most people miss. Let's be precise. $2,200 a month is $26,400 a year. If that money is redirected into investments, earning an average of 7% annually, over 15 years, that becomes roughly $680,000. Not from earning more, Not from a side hustle, just from stopping a payment and aiming the money somewhere else. That's the real opportunity. But most people don't take it. Not because they're careless, but because the money becomes visible. At the exact moment life expands to fill it. The kitchen remodel, the new car, the long-delayed vacation. All reasonable, all expensive, all competing for the same $2,200. There's a name for this. It's the same pattern that follows every raise, every bonus, every financial upgrade. Spending expands to fill the container you give it. The mortgage disappears, and a new container appears. And if you don't decide what goes into it, life will decide for you. The move is simple, but not easy. Automate the redirect before your lifestyle expands into it. That decision is the most important financial move in the first year after payoff. Most people wait too long. What changes about work. This is the part nobody talks about. There's a quiet kind of leverage your job has over you. When your mortgage is active, it's not said out loud, but it's always there. Your house requires a payment. The payment requires income. The income requires the job. That chain is invisible. Until it is. You feel it on Sunday nights. In performance reviews. In the moment, you almost say something honest. And then don't. When the mortgage disappears, that chain gets shorter. You're not free, but you're less constrained. And what replaces that constraint, for a lot of people, is clarity. Suddenly the question changes. It's no longer, can I afford to say this? It becomes, do I actually want to keep doing this? That's a different question, and it leads to different answers. Some people stay because they genuinely like their work. Others realize they've been tolerating things they never had to tolerate, and they leave. Neither outcome is predictable, but both come from the same shift. The job becomes a choice, and research consistently shows perceived choice over your work matters more to well-being than income. Once your basic needs are met, the mortgage payoff doesn't change your job. It changes your relationship to it. And for many people, that's the bigger shift. The risk nobody prepares you for. Here's the uncomfortable part. A paid-off house isn't a liquid asset. You can own a $500,000 home outright and still have $12,000 in savings. On paper, you're wealthy. In reality, you're vulnerable because the house can't write a check. It can't cover a medical bill. It can't fund 3 months of expenses. It can't replace lost income. This is the trap. People treat the payoff as the finish line. Instead of the transition, they slow down, stop building, and realize too late. They've traded one pressure for another. The move after payoff isn't to relax. It's to redirect. Same discipline, same consistency, but now aimed at liquid assets, diversified income, flexibility. The house is the floor. Now you build the structure above it. What changes permanently. There's something harder to describe, but you feel it. Debt has a presence. It sits in the background of every decision. The trip you didn't take, the risk you didn't consider, the idea you postponed. When it's gone, your thinking changes. Not overnight, but gradually. Decisions feel lighter. Opportunities feel possible. The question shifts from, what can I afford? To, what do I actually want to build? That's not a money question. It's a life question. But you can't hear it clearly until the financial noise quiets down. Where it goes wrong. There's a version of this story that doesn't end well. The mortgage disappears. Lifestyle expands. New obligations take its place. 5 years later. Different numbers. Same pressure. This happens more often than people admit. Because it's not dramatic. It's subtle. And it happens to disciplined people. The payoff is not the destination. It's a hinge. It opens a door. But you still have to walk through it. Hash what it looks like when it works. The people who get this right don't look dramatically different. From the outside, their life looks simple. Even boring. But internally, everything is different. They make decisions from choice, not pressure. They take opportunities because they can, not because they have to. They sleep better. Not dramatically. Just better. The house didn't make them wealthy. It gave them a foundation. What they built on top of it. That's the wealth. The mortgage payoff isn't the finish line. It's the first morning, where the finish line becomes visible.